Seriously. Welcome back. Today, we're working on our own pick-me-up truck here. Got the wife and kids at the shop. Got a noise coming out of here, snapping and cracking, creaking, carrying on, so I'm gonna do a little bit of diagnosis here. We already started into it. Die rod end seems good. We checked the ball joints, everything else. Heard this. Got some play in the wheel bearing here. Of course, sounds like most use when you go down the road. We got a loose wheel bearing. Cage is piled up in it. Apologize, might be a bit slow today. Getting older in life and got that gingivitis of the elbow. The tendonitis, appendicitis, whatever you want to call it, gonorrhea, syphilis. What's it called? Brutassia? Oh, brucitis, that's it, brucitis. Medic told me that earlier, my wife told me that. She's going through PSW course right now, doing that kind of stuff. They're gonna fast track her to the RPN. That's great. I don't mind the surprise doctor with me, so we're gonna get the wheel off and show you how to do a wheel bearing replacement on a 216 Dodge Ram 4x4 5.7. Incidentally, she's a Hemi. So I think I'm gonna, nickname my truck. She's a Hemi. So I don't want, I'm gonna be probably holding patent to this, but she's gonna be the Hemi Roid. So I'd never heard that before. We had the Hemi half with Derek and, the Hemi and the heavy half and all that. So I think I'm gonna call mine the Hemi Roid. So I might make up a sticker there and put on the tailgate because Dodge was too cheap to put a medallion back there other than something like I said 4x4. We got a plate block with the old Clean Up 5000. So we'll take a brief pause here and we'll get the wheel off because most of you know how to take the wheel off, so we'll be right back. Yeah, well, we got the wheel back out, or we got the wheel off it. We're gonna take our 36 mil, take the axle nut socket off. Gonna go around in behind here to the two main brake cradle bolts right here. They're 21 mil, we're gonna take that off. We'll pop out this ABS line all the way up so we can get it disconnected and get it out of here. Once again, if you're just joining in, I got, I don't know, some kind of hemorrhoiditis here on my arm, so it's a little sore. Probably a good thing when you're taking the nut off and the rust dust is flying. Good old Dodge, probably not. Wonder how y'all been lately. Oh yeah? That's nice. Good weather out where you are? Well, today it's a bit sunny here, so bottom cradle bowled out. Hi. Mama's on the camera there. She's having a bit of fun today. Dropping the nuts. Well, it's not supposed to do that until he gets about 70 years old. Well, thank you. I'm just gonna grab a piece of wire there to hang the caliper on. Hook that in the frame there like that. Take the brake caliper off. Apologize for getting my big block in the way. You want to let this hang on the coat hanger as opposed to the brake line, because as I told you before there, you fracture that, it acts as a one-way valve. So you go up in here and you pull this connector out of your plastic in the fender well. Unlock the little tab. Thank you. Just push it up until you hear the click as you did. Squeeze the tab in, unplug it. Now if you were taking the spindle out, not a bad idea is looking here for evidence of corrosion and whatnot. It's pretty clean. Too bad we're replacing it anyways, but good practice to get into so you know if you're going to have a future ABS issue or not. Maybe you can take some breaking electrical contact cleaner and clean that all up. You want to get your wire out of here. Check your backing plate for any evidence of a shine here, which would indicate that your backing plates may be distorted because you took the wheel off. Wheel fell down like that and bent the backing plate. And, you might get a squeal when you're turning or a rubbing noise like the wife's Impala. So due to a bit of a rust buildup from maybe not having them serviced along the way. So anyhow, we're going to go in here. I don't know if you can see here. There's 2 bolts here and one on the other side. They're 18 mil. We're going to take them out. It'll be a good time now to shoot a little lube around here. We'll get the old Lloyd's penetrant out. So I'm going to be getting in with my big block in here, taking these bolts out. I'll get the bolts out and we'll pop back on here, resume recording so you don't have to look at the back of my head and do the deal. Okay, well, we got all the 3 bolts out of the axle here now. The axle's loose. So now we got to take a hammer and go in here and smack the bearing. Hopefully it'll come out with a few good smashes to it. Otherwise, we may have to turn to drastic measures here, so we'll see what happens. Well, she might be breaking loose in there. So you can see how we're going to have to be smashing the bejesus out of her here by the Lord Thunder and Jesus. So we're going to take a pause here. I'm going to continue to beat this out, and once we get her out, we'll bring you back and show you the cleanup process on how to put her back together. Be right back to you. So after a few good smashes from this, smashed in the fender and frame rail, probably fractured ball joint. Look what we got here. We got a wheel bearing in. All you folks down in the south that may be watching this, I apologize for that. Y'all don't see this kind of corrosion debris. So we're going to clean this up. Just straighten the backing plate out a little bit. So what you want to do, take a roll like this, clean all up in here. A little triangle file if you got one, clean the spline up. Clean up in here. Lubricate everything up, put a little bit of anti-seize grease in. Want to clean this all up, anti-seize grease head. So if you have to have it apart in the future, comes apart a lot easier. So get everything gathered up and we'll show you how to start to clean up in the reassembly. All right, so we're gonna start the cleanup process here. Got my little Dental tool 900 out. Let's polish this up. Now that that's done, you got Junior calling his mother there. He doesn't understand. So, this being an aluminum spindle, you just want to clean that up. Just take a peek see through the camera here. So you just want to polish this up just a little bit, just to remove the corrosion, so everything sits flat. What I got here is a rectangular file. Okay. So you see each one of these splines. Grab a light here. Get a little light on the situation. The shop today is like a dungeon. So you just want to run it around in here. Angle it back and forth. See what we're doing here. Clean up each one of these splines. Now, a lot of you think, what's the point in that? But we're getting the dirt out of the bottom of it. So it goes together and it seeks its own level the way it should. See that little spot right there? Probably not too well, but anyway. We go around, clean each one of these up. You don't want to do the outside perimeter. You just want to find your file that fits in there. You may have to buy one. Don't be so cheap. It makes it so the torque that's applied to the nut at the end is proper and it's not piling up on a bunch of dirt and shit and debris that's in the bottom of the spline. So you gotta do each one.
Do you want to show the difference between this side and that side now?
So these ones are all done. So we're gonna roll the axle around a little bit. Now you look in there. See all this little debris? Just want to do it, you know, it's never ideally going to come right shiny. But just kind of grind her in there and get right to the bottom, dig her right into the teeth. The gum line. Oh, by the way, Chevy's here today. She's still sleeping. Oh my God. She must be a government employee. Always asleep on the job. But, you know, it's pretty cheap. A couple 4 ounces here and 4 ounces there. 26 or over the day. She's pretty much in a coma. She don't wake up too much. When she does, generally an all-around good kid, unlike her mother. She's the reason I got no hair. That's besides the point. I hope the second generation of her is better than the first. Because I don't know if the old body can take another one of her.
But do you though?
Probably not. They'll keep me young. So, we got her all done up there. Now you want to take the file and go in here, clean this all up. See. Now again, as I told you before, a lot of this is applicable to all these vehicles. Not just particularly the flavor we're working on today. 16 Dodge Ram. Hold that light. You got a grinder in there and get her out of there. You see that all flaking off? That's all stuff that prevents the bearing from going in with ease and seating here. Like you got to keep the camera back away, or the light back away from the camera. They'll get a flash and think that, you know, they were on the side of my head or something. So, again, you see all that debris coming out of there. I don't know, maybe, you know, you think this is pointless. I like to make sure it fits in there properly because, you know, we just had to take the BFH and assist it out there with a 5-pound sledge. So if we ever have to change it again or maybe later on, you know, take this out and put some lift spindles in or something like that. Well, it'd be nice to be able to pop the wheel bearing out and not have to beat the tar out of it so we can get her out of there so we can transfer it over to the new spindles.
Hey, Brayden.
What?
Where are you?
What is it?
Look.
Braden's up there cleaning the old truck box out. While he's up there, he's gonna sort the air mail. Mr. Priority Post there. So. All right, well, we pretty much got her cleaned up and ready for reassembly. We're gonna take cloth, wipe that all down. No point in leaving it in there. Ordinarily, a lot easier to grab brake clean and, you know, do it. But that stuff, you know, got a lot of CFCs and HCFCs in it. They're not good for your jewels, if you know what I mean. I don't want testicular cancer, so I don't bother using it. And I got that breathing issue there. What's it called?
COPD.
What'd you call it?
COPD.
Cops. Did you say cops? Bad boys. What you want? What? Oh, what'd you say?
COPD.
Oh yeah, that's that chronic, over the past dementia.
You got problems breathing.
Yeah. What's it stand for? Common old man problems, death as a result. Yeah, it's close enough. Some breathing disorder. Basically, sounding like a 400-pound man, you know, doing a jog down the sidewalk, catch up to the Dickie D man so you can get an ice cream bar. You'll probably go about 4:05 by the end of the day, but anyhow. We got that all wiped up. Polish her up. Old Junior up there, I don't know what he's doing. Sounds like he's struggling. You're not constipated up there, are you?
No, not this time.
Oh, not at this time. All right. So we got one more piece to clean up, and then we can start the reassembly. Right now we need the backing plate and figure out where to put it.
Here, if you want to hold this, I'll go get it.
Where is it?
I think it's over on your roll cart or on your toolbox.
No, probably not.
I spy with my little eye something that's a backing plate.
Where's it hanging over there on the caliper?
Look at this, folks.
Somebody said mechanics were open.
Ta-da!
Not blind. Still don't see it.
It's okay, I'm here for you.
Where millions wouldn't be, you are, eh, hon? All the time.
Braden John.
That Jimmy Jiggle up there in the back of the truck there playing with his areola there. Thanks, Gilbert. Son of an onion goat. We're going to clean that up. You can see the outline of where the old bearing plant's at. So we'll just, I'll take the clean off. And I meant to tell you here too, when you're using the die grinder on this, you don't want to see a bunch of metal shavings flying around, or sorry, aluminum shavings flying around. Like your spindle shouldn't look like it's a chia pet after you're done there. And much less, when I'm grinding in here, I don't want to see a bunch of sparks. Sparks when you're grinding means you're removing metal. In this case, we just want to remove the paint, clean it up a little bit, so none of this is getting in the thread pitch of the bolts or stuff like that. test fit that back there. No damage was had. It's all good. Enough. The old anti-seize grease out here. And again, you feel like Bob Ross here, or, you know, some other artist, Van Gogh, Kierstead. I feel like one of them outdoor boys there. Jan. Got a little tent here. Nothing wrong with pitching the tent. That's why I like going camping. But anyhow, I don't know what you're laughing at. There was nothing intended there. Much. And you really don't want to plaster this stuff on because it makes quite a mess. You know, you end up once again looking like the Tin Man off the Wizard of Oz. Wife hates it, gets in the clothes, washes the clothes. Next thing you know.
That's not what I hate.
Oh, I know. I tell them what you really hate, but, you know, some people might think that. Well, actually, what the wife dislikes the most out of everything I've ever done over the, you know, the 25, 30 years we've been together and I've been doing this, is the smell of ADW90. Now, your fellettes, if you've been working on race cars, changing diffs or servicing the differential in your old B/4 there and whatnot, you probably know what I'm talking about. And your wife, well, she thinks you smell like you got skunk urine sprayed all over you, times about 35. Sometimes the only way you can get rid of the smell of that stuff when you go to clean up is burnt transmission fluid. You know, so it might get you put enough on the bolts. How many hands does it take?
Couple.
But the only time I have a problem hitting holes when I'm doing that.
That's what she said.
What was that, Mikey?
That's what she said.
Probably shouldn't prescribe a comment or a response there because, you know, if you're a parent, of course you got ears on you like a beagle listening for a deer. So we got 3 bolts back in. We'll start down. We'll just give a little turn on each one there and draw her in evenly. So next thing you do is do the splines of the bearing where it goes in. First we walk out of the room carrying the bearing. So now, do you want to put it there so when your alignment gets all over your hands? You should put it in here about halfway in, so as it goes in it pushes it the rest of the way to the end. So we'll lubricate this off. Now, you don't want to plaster this on because, you know, not only does it make a mess, but slings all over the place when you start driving down the road. So you just want to cover just a little bit there, making sure you don't get any into the backside of the bearing because it slings it into the VSS, and next thing you know, your bearing's quiet, but you've got a speed sensor issue and an ABS light on. That's not good. Got to haul the bearing back out and again use that old brake clean, the stuff that takes your manlyhood away from you. I mean, I probably shouldn't care about using it because wife listened to Bob Barker and had her pet spayed or neutered, so, you know, I'm kind of the sun-kissed man now. All juice, no seed. Not always a bad thing. There's starting to bolt in the hole there. So don't fall out, take you in the teeth, knock it out. You kind of look like Joe Beluga there doing a rendition with Rocky Marciano, or in the new case, Rocky Balboa. So we'll take this time and turn the wheel. Bring it on 2 of the 3 bolts. I'll proceed to start putting them in. 65 foot-pounds is the torque on these. Once you get them all drawn in. If you're like me, you don't even own a torque wrench. You just go pull on her until the old tendonitis is in full effect. And, you know, if you dislocate your elbow and you feel that click and pop, and it's like, yep, that's tight enough. Or you drop your ratchet all together, socket flies off, spend 37 minutes trying to find it. Good thing is, at about the 18-minute mark, you will find it, because it's not a 10 mil. You know, there's a whole whackle of them going around. Snap-on truck just loves it. #1 selling socket, 10 mil according to Facebook, because, you know, everybody's losing them like they're going out of style. So, well, I'm going to do here, undo the top motor mount bolt, hit that a smack, pop it out. Age in putting these bullets in these. Actually, I just want to speed up the time. So as you can see, we previously loosened it. So we can take the bolts out. Now another little trick there, you see me struggling to get it in. So, push your bearing out a little bit. There you go. You can get at the bolts. We'll proceed to proceed. Ah, very nice. Great success.
Oh yeah.
I wonder what Grasshopper's up to today. He's probably still in bed eating crackers there and whatnot, thinking he's Joan of Arc. Really. He looks like Willie Nelson's brother with his hairdo. I offered him $5 to get a haircut. He took and bought a pack of smokes. Oh, the good guy he is. His hair still looks like, you know, something out of a Jeffrey Dahmer movie, but that's cool, I guess. Go ahead and draw each one of these in fairly evenly. That way it pulls the bearing in nice and straight, doesn't bind, pop, piss around. One thing you never want to do is turn the wheel any too much before you get the axle nut on, because if you do, you run the risk of pressing the center of the bearing here or loosening it up. So I learned that long ago. Get on to the third and remaining bolt here. Get that in, and then we put the ball joint nut back on. Last time I checked, folks, we're at 29 subscribers. Thank you very much. We're thinking about putting up a little contest of some sort. What do y'all think? Give me a number. We reach X number of subscribers, you know, we can maybe figure out some kind of prize to donate or something like that to the individual. Would be a good number. Maybe you leave me a comment, you know. Haven't had a lot of questions. I had Austin ask me a couple questions about a tune on his board. Well, to be honest with you, I don't think you can play a D tune on a guitar, much less a tune on the Ford. But anyways, that's besides the point. Haha. How you doing today, Austin? I don't give a heck actually, so just keep it to yourself. So there, we got that tight. I know it's tight because my elbow popped. So we'll go on to the next one, which is the top bolt here. Don't know if you heard that or not. That was the elbow, you know, the one with the appendicitis in it. So, whatever you want to call it. Once again, we're not sure what it is. Old man getting old. My son bought me a shirt that says old guy's rule. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Still young enough to whip his ass 6 ways a Sunday. Feeling pretty spry. Gotta get down. Keeping it real. Yes, God. Oh yeah, I forgot. Braden's still up in the box of the truck. You okay up there?
No.
Okay, well. Still breathing, still talking.
He's having a lunch.
No problem. Go turn the wheel, please.
What are we eating?
Now you don't want to drive that knot right home because you crush the taper on the ball joint. Distort the aluminum that's all in. I think the torque on that, I'll check and make sure. I believe it's 45. You won't see me torque anything here. So I'm just doing the reassembly, then we'll go around, we'll get the old torque wrench out there and we'll torque it up at the completion. I just want to show you this video, you know, get her all back together. Once again, like I said before, my videos, you know, you don't turn around and generally see, you know, in the next frame that the bearing's already installed, and then, you know, next thing you know, the rotor and caliper's on, the guy's bolting the wheel back on, telling you, you know, thanks very much for watching. Well, what'd you watch? 3 frames of an install? I like to be like the paint dry guy. I'll talk you through it all. Bob Ross did, and he made her to some channel on rabbit ears. You know how long he's been in the game, so rabbit ears. You heard that? Sorry, you heard me say that. Once again, if you didn't, Bob Ross was on rabbit ears. So. But you know, I went to Netflix, and there he was again. So I sat down and watched him. I really don't know how that guy got along with himself. All that hair. Hell of a painter, though. Later on. So we'll grab up the old rotor here. Mikey, that's not the nut. I don't know why you keep wanting to hand it to me.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
What are we eating?
So, I'm just going to put this up here for a second. Yes, it's on backwards. But I want to show you. Where's the light? Again, I told you this on the brake job we were doing. See all this rust right here, the different formations, the dull rust, the shiny rust, the clean backside of the rotor. Then in here, okay? See that little piece right there? Little black spot, okay? I removed it with my finger. But what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna grind all this up so it's decently shiny. You don't want this mating against the new portion of the bearing, because that, like a piece like that right there, that flake can rust. That gets in between the bearing and the rotor as it is right now. You go down the road and your brakes are doing this. You took it apart, it was perfectly smooth, you put it back together, you get your wife in there and you go down the road and you're, oh honey, look, I saved this X number of dollars, I changed this bearing myself. Great. You hit the brakes and you look over and she's over there and things are jiggling and wiggling and doing the deal, and she looks like she's doing the polka, and you're kind of wanting to hit the brakes again because you like what you see, and she goes, wow, nice ride, can we go again? Meanwhile, she's jumping out taking the 49 home. The next city bus that comes along, she's on it. So we're going to clean this up because on my wife's car, this is built up and it's touching the backing plate that you seen on here, and it's going squealing, ringing. Turn to the left, it goes away. So just take a hammer and just hit it on an angle. You know, just tap, tap. And take that all off. Clean this all up. Of course, I got anti-seize grease on it. But next time you see this, we're going to clean it up inside and out. It's part of a brake service at the same time, you know, and we'll put her back together. Watch this. Like I said, we're going to do a minor brake service. So you just want to take this and see that coming off there? Just want to tap it all the way around. Turn it, tap it. See the buildup? See the difference between right there and there? You know, there's a little piece right there. I know you can see that shine. You got to get rid of stuff like that. See that? See the thickness there? There you go. Right there. You got to get rid of that all the way around so it looks like that. So we're not going to bore you with watching me do all this. I'm going to chip all this off and we'll be right back to you. And then we're going to touch her up with the grinder. So please take this moment to go like and subscribe. Be right back to you. Thank you. So I know we said, you know, in the next frame everything's done. So we chipped it all off here. Now we're going to take our die grinder. Just going to make sure we smooth her up. Kind of want to taper it just a little bit. You seen that rust build up? Well, it came this way. And that, you know, makes your pads hop up and down, squeal, chatter. So we're just going to kind of bevel it or chamfer it, however you want to call it. So watch it. Notice no sparks are flying. We're not moving a lot of metals, so we're not going to create a problem here. just roughing the edge up. I'm just letting the weight of the grinder do what it needs to do. So it's just polished up just a bit to take off the mirrored finish, because when it's mirrored, you get a brake squeal. This was squealing, so hopefully when we put it back together, we won't have to worry about that. We're almost due up to replace the brakes anyway, so I'm just doing a brake service to show you some good maintenance you can do on in your driveway at home. No, you don't need a compressor and a Chicago pneumatic die grinder or Husky, Mastercraft, Waterloo. You do the do. You can simply use sandpaper, 60 grit grinder in there. You just want to kind of just take the edge off it. Now we'll clean up. Sides to every story. So there's not a lot of slag buildup on this, so we're just going to run around here and clean it up. Cleaned up. We didn't remove any metal to speak of. We just took the edge off it. Now, I cleaned this bearing face all up. You want to run your fingers around, because your fingers will see what your eyes won't. Okay? That's nice and smooth. You have to get the corrosion off. Aluminum wheels, steel wheels, don't matter. This corrosion here, you torque your wheel on at 100 foot-pounds, 150 foot-pounds, depending on the vehicle manufacturer. Corrosion will give you a false torque. It busts off because the wheel's loose, the wheel comes loose, next thing you know, you're reenacting the Kenny Rogers song. Loose wheel. You picked a fine time to leave me, loose wheel. Probably 80, 90K down on the, the 401 or the interstate. Next thing you know, oh honey, look at that wheel. No, it's your own. You're off in the ditch, flipped over, car's on fire, flames golfing out the window, something. Let's avoid that. All too many times, this is overlooked, wheels come loose. After we get this done and the wheels are torqued, we're going to drive about 200K, come back, torque the wheels again. That being said, we're good to go. So fall, when we take the tires off, put the winter tires on. So yes, you can take your, rubbing alcohol or brake clean, 313. Clean this all up. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to grab a cloth, wipe her down, put her back together, brakes clean, the rest off. Brakes now, the cloth. Thank you. Yep. Just put Clean her all up here. Now back in the previous video I said, grab the disinfectant. Medic was using it to take off, what do you call it? The adhesive. You gotta watch that video, man. I asked the guy to put some in the cuts. As you go, get you guys a chuckle. You ever had open wounds and you put your hands in them? Get that stuff all over, it gets in the cuts. Wow, man, does it hurt. So, the rotor's loose on there. And take a little bit of this, just go around the inside. Now you want to load your brush, just tap it in there. So anyways, now that rotor's trying to be there and you're trying to hold it and you're doing the deal and putting the caliper on this, falling all over. 14 mil wrench. Oh yeah, that's great. How's that work, you said? Oh, well. Sorry for driving in front of the camera. Well, I'm a smart ass. Let's do this. Take your wheel nut. Why do you put the wrench on, you say? Well, for one simple reason. That's about the thickness of the rim. So, you can put the stud right on, but you see the length of the stud here, well, it bottoms out. Not many has ever done that before, but it bottoms out. So the rotor's still wobbling this way. Listen, no noise. The rotor's tight. Me one, rotor zero. So we got that all held on there. Got our surface all cleaned up. Now this time you can spin the rotor and take a flat bastard file, clean that all up, nice and shiny. Because if you don't and it builds up, it digs out in here. Next thing you know, you run along, you hear. Kind of sounds like, well, we won't even go there. I was going to say, maybe the wife giving you shit or something like that, but probably not. I don't have that problem. My wife's pretty damn good with me, all in all. She puts up with a lot. I told you before in the previous video. She deserves a medal. Put up with me for a good number of years. One hell of a lady. So, I'm gonna hook that back in the grommet there, the ABS wire, and proceed. Now, remember when I was pulling that caliper off? I had a struggle. Actually, I did the struggle so you could say, get a pry bar, push the pistons back, something like that, There was a point being made there. Now it just drops over the rotor because you chamfered the edges of it. Did a brake service. Now at my shop, brake service costs you $150. You take the caliper off, clean the pads all up, lubricate everything in here. We just, we already did that previously. No need to do it again, but if I can show you ways to keep the maintenance costs down on your vehicle, well, that's what it's all about, right? You shouldn't have to buy a car once and then buy it again while you own it. Unless you insist on driving a Ford, well then there's no helping you anyways, because, really, probably a lot like cousin Ryan there that really don't know no better. He's sitting there knocking the old Chevys and whatnot. Of course, here I am driving a Dodge, so I'm not too smart either. I mean, favorite flavor of vehicle is a Dodge, so you gotta put that back in there. Clip that back in, make sure that's plugged in. We're gonna grab our 21, tighten up the cradle, 65 foot-pounds. Make sure all your grommets, everything are closed up, on this ABS wire, nothing worse. You're, talking, putting everything back together, not paying attention. Next thing you know, the ABS wire falls down, wraps around the axle, tears it out of the brand new bearing. You go, but Mr. Counterman, you sold me a bearing and the ABS light's on. Yes, sir, we sold you a bearing, and if there was a fault through, natural stuff, like a defect in workmanship, well, they probably cover the warranty, but when it's wrapped around your axle and the wiring's ripped right out, honestly, do you think that they're going to warranty the bearing? So, do yourself a favor. Check twice, check 3 times. A lot of you people probably should check 4 or 5. I know I did. You know, once again, make sure you can't pull them out. That's locked in. You know, these other ones here. See that one right there? Make sure it's clipped in, seated, so it doesn't fall apart. Well, other than tightening up and torquing, well, we showed you how to install a wheel bearing on a 216 Dodge Ram. And I called up this morning, went over to the parts place, picked up the bearings, just for shits and giggles. I said, how many of these you got in stock? Guy at the parts counter says 21, sir. That's a pardon me. 21. Great. When you got 21 of the same bearings in stock, I'll probably take about 17 of them. Why, you say? He's got 21 in stock. Obviously there's a problem. We're gonna have a shortage by this time next week, so. Great, Dodge. Why don't you just throw a wrench into the engine again? So, we got that all on there. We're gonna put the axle nut on. Don't forget, we got a target. 155 foot-pounds. I'm going to tell you not to. I do. Please don't use an impact gun. It rattles the wheel bearing. You know, voids warranty. 65 foot-pounds on the upper ball joint nut. 65 on the 2 nuts that hold the cradle on. Later on, when we do a brake job, we're going to come in here and dress this all up. Probably get a set of coated rotors, some nice Bosch pads. I'm going to paint the cradles, paint the calipers, simulate we're driving an SRT. Probably not. You know, but we're going to dress this up, a little bit of eye candy for going down the road with. So going to town rig and derby rig and rig. So anywho, we're going to put the nut on and we're going to continue on. And next time you see it, she'll be all back together. Thank you. Have a great day. Please like, subscribe, and more so, comment. I want to hear from you. You know, like if you got questions, you got comments, you know a better way, please let me know. We're all in it to help each other out, right? That's what it's all about. So, you know, if I didn't care, I wouldn't go step by step in boring detail, you know, to help you save some money. I'll take care of the bigger jobs you got. This stuff you can do on a Saturday in your own driveway. Anyways, take care. Have a great day. See ya.